Life flies by. Gosh, 1 second, it's your first day of kindergarten. You have your lunchbox in hand and mom's taking your picture outside by the school sign. Then the next moment, you're getting accepted into colleges. You're getting married. You're starting your family, and before you know it, life's over. We've gotten as far as we are, and today we're going to reminisce upon everything we've been through and what we would do in order to help our younger selves in those situations. This is Dear Younger Me. Now, before I get to talking about my past self, can I introduce you to my current self? Hi, I'm Kobe. This is the Maturish podcast, but I promise you, just like every single previous episode recorded and every episode to come, y'all, I'm not alone.
Hey, my name is Donovan, and I'm here too. Hopefully you guys will accept me. Now today, this episode of Maturish, we're going to be talking to ourselves. Not only will we be talking to ourselves, we'll be talking to each other. And while we do that, we're going to be giving ourselves and each other some advice, some well-needed advice, because everyone needs some direction from someone wiser than them. Whether you know it or not, you're going to need it. That's what we're going to do today.
I'm going to start at the beginning.
All right.
In 2002, life for the both of us, it began.
What a great year it was for the planet Earth.
There had been plenty of people born previously. Some amazing people.
They're okay.
But in 2002, greatness was born.
Oh, yeah.
In November,
Uh-oh.
my mom was up in stirrups, pushing. And there I was.
Get that baby out.
And every year since then, I have blazed a trail of greatness.
Hey, Blaze.
But once again, it wasn't just me.
Mm-mm.
And my trail kind of became intertwined with somebody else's.
Uh-oh.
Donovan. Dude, that's you.
Really?
November was a great month for me. But boy, in January, Donnell, she was up in stirrups too.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing.
Get that baby out of there.
And there you were. And every year since then, you, sir,
have gone downhill.
And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yes, indeed.
Where would you like to start, Donovan? When you look back at your life, where do you think it began? Was it primary school? Was it maybe before that, preschool? Where does Donovan begin?
Well, ever since I was born, I've just had the knowledge that I am here and I am on a mission. What mission exactly, what was my goal? I'm unsure. But I know I'm here for a reason. And I have to fulfill my duty as a human being. Kobe? Nope. I am still on that mission. Am I doing a good job? No. Am I trying to do a good job? Sure. But all I know is ever since I came out of Donnell Hughes, I've been on a mission.
Donnell Hughes, one of the greatest moms to exist.
As she should.
As is LaChristiana Williams.
Mm-hmm.
She has been... But we're not here to talk about our moms.
No.
Donnell, LaChristiana, go sit down and listen.
All right.
Life for Kobe began on Sunday, November 10th, 2002 at approximately 3:29 in the morning.
All right.
My mom, she pushed, and ever since then, I have made it a point to live a life that not only severely disappoints myself,
Of course.
but every person around me. And at that, I have extremely failed to an extent.
Right.
I am an extreme disappointment to myself.
Right.
Everybody around me loves me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why,
Right. Weirdos.
but they think I'm a cool dude.
Right.
That's what I've been told. To some people, I'm not necessarily to the shade that they like, or not to the height that they like. But by God, Kobe is cool.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll take pride in that Kobe's cool.
Yes.
Hear me out. If I could spell cool with a K and maybe club, I could start a cool kids club.
Mm-hmm. Those 3 Ks. That you should do that.
Guys, comment, do whatever you need to do. But picture a building. Half of it, the Cool Kids Club of America.
Mm-hmm.
The other half, Lotion and Lace, Passionate Romance Daycare Center.
Oh.
What do y'all think? Let me know. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
But in all seriousness, I have lived a life full of dramatics, full of happenings that, while I've only been around just shy of 20 years, I've lived decades. 3.
Mm-hmm.
Lived through the 2000s, them 10s, and here we are in them 20s.
All right.
But Donovan, can we
Yeah.
talk about you first?
Sure.
Let's go back to that childhood. One thing you had to go through that I didn't have to go through was being alone.
Yeah.
See, you didn't have a younger sibling or an older sibling or
No.
a twin, a sibling your age. You didn't have any freaking siblings, dude.
Not at all.
You had yourself.
I did.
You had to play with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was that for you? How did you juggle that? Looking back at it, is there anything you wish you might have done differently?
Yes. As a child, I didn't have, anyone to play with or talk to. It was
Right.
just me.
Yes. As we can see by your drawings and the things that we have found since then.
Of course. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I really wish I could have just worked on myself more.
As a child,
Yes.
what work would you have done?
Whatever work that needed to be done. If I saw, I don't know, I needed to learn how to read better, should read more books instead of just sitting on my ass like a bum.
Right.
Get up, go get a job. Seriously, it's just like you're sitting here
Yeah. Donovan.
in primary school,
Right.
wasting your life away playing
Yeah.
video games.
Uh-huh.
Get up and go do something.
You can't.
What?
You can't start working until you're 16. 15 and a half with a permit.
Well, I mean,
At 7, you just have to...
there are kids out there doing lemonade stands. Go do something with your life.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right. Did that bother you, Donovan? Is that something you regret? That you weren't working a corner with your lemonade stand? Instead, you were just inside playing with yourself, doing things that necessarily don't help you now that you're an adult.
Yes. I just feel like if I would have spent more time honing my skills, working a job, working on my business skills before, I feel like I would be better off now.
Right. As with anybody, the earlier you get experience, the more experienced you are when it comes down to experience.
Of course.
Think about it.
I'm listening.
Now, for me, I didn't have that sense of loneliness.
Right.
I wasn't always just playing with myself because I had my sister there that I was playing with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're going to be laughing a lot because just make sure you get that.
We're keeping it in.
Yeah, well, duh. I'm talking about the pauses of me trying to hold in my laugh.
You got it.
What did I last say? I had my sister to play.
You were playing with your sister.
Yes. Me and Kylie, like I said before, I believe I touched upon this when we did our little get to know us thing, that if you haven't listened to, go back to the beginning.
Please.
Gosh.
You're missing out.
On us.
Seriously.
So, me and Kylie, although we didn't share a womb, we're almost like twins. I'm only 13 months older than her.
Right.
So, everything that was happening as we developed, we kind of went through at the same time.
Of course.
We were getting potty trained at the same time. We were starting school together. We went to preschool together. Kylie started preschool early because she started preschool when I did.
Right.
She just did like an extra year or whatever until she could go into the public school system.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Christiana said if she's getting rid of one kid, both are leaving.
Of course.
So Kylie just got an extra year to play with blocks or whatever. I can't necessarily say there's anything I'd do differently then. Mm-hmm. But as time went on, me and Kylie, we kind of, not saying we're not close. I love that girl to death. And she loves me too.
Sure.
We kind of drifted away in terms of she has a certain taste in music that I find repulsive. Mm-hmm. I cannot. In 2 weeks, she's going to a Harry Styles concert. I wouldn't be caught dead in a Harry Styles concert. So there's that. And then even like the things that she finds interesting in television. I'm watching Empire. I'm watching How to Get Away with Murder. I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. And she's watching Julie and the Phantoms.
I love Julie and the Phantoms.
We're not talking about you.
Oh, well, I do.
Can I kiss you again?
Sure.
Okay. So we kind of drifted away there.
Of course.
And when that started to happen, I didn't necessarily try to find another person who had the same interest. Instead, I was more so on my own in that sense. I feel like it wouldn't have been hard. There are other kids that were watching Empire. There were other kids that were watching whatever. There are other kids listening to the same music I was listening to. And instead of finding somebody that I could connect with on that level, I was more so, nah, I'll just let it be.
Right.
So I wish I maybe would have done that differently, because the more the merrier. The
Of
more
course.
people you can play with, the more fun that there is to be had.
Right.
So there's that. When you started school, Donovan,
Right.
as we talked about once again in the first episode, you weren't too keen on making close friends.
No.
Is that something you regret now? Do you think it would have been helpful if you would have had those lifelong, quote unquote, friendships?
No. I feel like even as a small child, I knew that humans are terrible creatures. And if they feel something is advantageous to them, they will backstab you. Mm-hmm. And it's just something I didn't want to be a part of. Mm-hmm. So I just felt like the less people I had, the more I could trust.
Mm. See, that's interesting. For me, from the get-go, when I was in kindergarten, I made it a point that I had one friend and another friend ended up coming along. Hey, Kimberly in Brooklyn. My girls.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started on Brooklyn. But those two girls were very helpful in the terms of me becoming more social. Because once again, I was only so used to being around Kylie that I didn't have Kylie out with Joe Wilson in kindergarten. She was still stuck in preschool. So I needed to branch out. And those were the two, along with some other people, that I really branched out with. And as life went on, even with them. After primary school, I didn't go to school anymore with Brooklyn, but me and Kimry always went to school together.
Right.
We started kindergarten in the same class. We graduated high school in the same class. So it was very much, if there's anybody I grew up with that's not my sister, it's Kimry.
Right.
But once again, even there, it's like we were friends, but it was more so only because of the fact that we had been around each other for so long. It was more so just helpful. We only kept that relationship because we were day oneers. I've known you for so long that we're used to being friends. We're used to being around each other. So why not keep that relationship?
Right.
When I first started, and I'm going to be honest, I was a very late bloomer in the terms of going out to people's houses, going to friends', going out with people, that thing. The very first time I went out to eat with friends was the weekend before sophomore year started of high school. I did not do anything else with kids beforehand. I just didn't have any interest in it.
Right.
The first time I went out to dinner was with Kimry, and then Diamond and Deidre were there as well. But it's like she was always just very comfortable. It was comfortable being around her.
Right.
So that kind of thing, that I kind of feel like it would have been better had I been in your situation, or chose to have been. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to not necessarily, don't force things. Not saying, me and her don't have a good relationship. We're friends-ish to this day. And I feel like that's going to be a forever thing, just because, once again, it was a very long time.
Of course.
But don't just sit there and, oh, I have to be with you. I have to be your friend only strictly because we've known each other for majority of our lives. And that's what I feel like a lot of relationships are. A lot of friendships are. Your best friend is your best friend because you've known him or her for 15 years. Not because that's the best relationship you have.
Right.
That's kind of weird to me. Because there's a lot of people that do that. Not me. It's not. Does longevity play a role in that? In some cases. But in other cases, like, it's just the vibe is there. We could have just started talking yesterday, and you're really making my day great today. So in that sense, I don't think it necessarily helps or doesn't help. Maybe it just depends on the person. I just know it's not necessarily beneficial for me.
Of course. Mm-hmm. You know what, Kobe? That sure is your story.
I know it is.
And thank you for sharing that. Now look. Hearing that, it just made me think, why? It's like, why go out and seek people when there's enough here in yourself?
Loneliness is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get through life just being by yourself. Us as people, I mean, at the end of the day, you can even trace it back to like animals. Animals in the wild aren't just by themselves.
Right.
They travel in packs. Why? Because it's easier on them and it's easier on us when you have a friend, when you have a family, when you have things to fall back upon when you need that support. Like, animals in the wild, they travel in packs, in groups, in families, because different roles are assigned to different whatever. And that's how it is in the friendship and the family dynamic. That there's going to be a time, whether that's you experience a loss in the family, whether you're struggling in some aspect of life, your mental health is maybe on the flip side of where it should be, that you need somebody there to fall back on, to hold you, to assure you things are going to be fine. And you can't necessarily do that with yourself. Because if I'm going, down in the dumps, all I'm going to think about is, yeah, Kobe, you're there. I might need somebody to say, hey, Kobe, you're fine. You're good. Get up. Dust yourself off and try again. That's why.
That's interesting. I feel, even as a small child in pre-kindergarten, I knew I can't just let myself be sad.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I was feeling down or depressed for whatever reason, I knew since I was born, I had my mission. And it's up to me to get me there.
Right.
I'm not gonna depend on somebody else to get me to where I need to be.
Interesting.
I was gonna say something else. But yeah, it's just like, cause what if they don't have your best interests at heart? You don't know that until it's too late. I've been depending on them, and now they've let me down.
Shit, no. Huh. That could be your mindset. My mindset with things are, and I've had plenty of best friends in my life. For each time period, the best friend has been beneficial to what I've needed at that point. Their true colors or whatever, do they come out at the end of the day? Yes. But would you rather know that when it happens and you're able to move on, to continue on, and use that to better yourself? Or would you rather, never mind, I'll just be lonely, I'll just only focus on myself, and I don't have to have human interaction. I don't need to play games with people. I don't need somebody to talk to. I'll talk to myself. I'll play with myself.
Exactly.
No.
Yes. Because why put yourself in that situation? Now they've backstabbed me. Why put yourself in a situation that you need to move on from something? Just do it yourself.
Because it's a learning experience.
Learn from yourself.
You can't learn everything from yourself. You need somebody to sit back and tell you red is red, yellow is yellow, blue is blue. Those are the primary colors, and you make every other color using those colors. You need to be taught these things. When it comes down to betrayal and backstabbing, somebody needs to betray you for you to learn how to get through that, for you to learn how to maybe avoid it in the future, and for you to just learn how to cope with those things. You can't do everything on your own. You're going to need people around you, people to guide you, and people to, while you may think that they're your best friend at that time, maybe they're just a learning experience for the future. That's all it comes down to.
That's definitely the way you think.
It's the way it is.
No. Everyone has a different path for themselves. Yeah. You know, what works best for you maybe doesn't work best for me. If I feel like I need to play with myself, I'm going to play with myself. I just did. Oh, bless you, Kobe.
Thank you.
Why play with somebody else when playing with yourself is just, you just get so much more satisfaction from it.
Right. While it is easily more helpful when you only have yourself to focus on, because then you can put your best interest forward. You can just only focus on what Donovan has to do. But at the same time, everybody can be Donovan, but everybody needs that Kobe too. That person that comes in and just makes life so much better. I don't know how I was living before I got Kobe. Gosh, they're amazing. You need that. I mean, look at you. You were out on the street, a bum, lonely. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you thought you had friends, but they all paled in comparison to what I am.
Sure.
Still do. And now, once you've seen what I bring to the table, now you realize that's a real friend. That is a true friend. What did Hannah Montana say? We're true friends.
Thanks for that, Kobe.
You're here till the end. We're true friends.
Thank you, Kobe. That was just, you know what? maybe you're right. You're always going to need that somebody that has your back. Never mind. Everyone's just going to end up betraying you in the end. That's why if you need to learn something, go read a book, learn it yourself.
That's interesting. You know, I can't wait for the day that I betray you. It's gonna happen.
Right.
And guys, I'm gonna go solo and I'm just gonna be so amazing. And you're gonna be right back on the street with those friends doing absolutely nothing.
Of course.
You need me to make it. To graduate college. To start a career.
Oh.
To start a family.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna start a family without me?
How would I? That sure is what you think.
It's the truth.
Okay.
But not only are you a friend, you're so much more. But I feel like I should thank you. What did the Golden Girls say?
Go ahead.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart is true.
Yep.
You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, come on, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend."
Thank you, Kobe.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Donovan, if you threw a party
I won't.
and invited everyone you knew, I'd be there. I'd be there to support you.
Thank you.
I promise you I would. Because I am your biggest fan.
That means a lot.
It doesn't. You
right.
don't care.
I don't. I'm glad you know that. Because as friends, you just get to know each other. We just know each other so well.
Do we?
I think so, hopefully. And yeah. You know, cause like now I know 99 times out of 100 you wouldn't do those bad things.
Is that what it seems?
Yeah.
What did Wizards of Waverly Place say? Everything is not what it seems, and you could get all you wanted in your wildest dreams. You might run into trouble when you go to extremes, because everything is not what it seems. I'm kidding.
All right. Wonder how many of those you can fit in the episode.
Oh, just wait.
I'm waiting. All right.
But on a serious note, I think this is me talking to you. You put a lot of faith and trust into yourself, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You should maybe find another person and say, you know what? I need you to lean on, to have faith in you, that you have faith in me, that when times get tough, I can count on you. I feel like I can count on you.
You can.
And like Bruno Mars said,
Okay.
you can count on me. Like
leave them back on the
1,
table,
2,
please,
3. I'll be there.
Will you?
I will.
Thank you for that. I had something, but I lost it after that musical number. Yeah, keep going.
Well, I was just going to move on from the whole this thing, because I was going to go on to something else.
Okay.
In time, have you felt as if...
No, we're going back. I found it.
Okay.
Let me ask you something, Kobe. There's a saying, Don't put all of your eggs into one basket.
Right.
What happens when I have that one friend and all of a sudden, their untimely death arrives that wasn't caused by me? What happens now? I put all my eggs in this basket. Now the basket is broken. All my eggs are on the floor. What happens, Kobe?
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
You shouldn't put all of your eggs into that basket. You should keep some of your eggs for yourself. All of your eggs aren't their eggs. Give them some, but give them just enough that if something was to happen, because the inevitable happens all the time.
Right.
Even this, we could record this, go on our merry old ways, and tomorrow morning we find out something tragically happened to the other one. Then we have to make a decision. Do I keep on doing this by myself?
Right.
Do I stop? Do I find somebody to replace the other one? You can't think too much about those things, because if you are too overly prepared, you're not necessarily going to be prepared for when the time comes. When you think too much upon the future, you stop living in the present. When I think so much about what's going to happen to K and D when there's no more D or when there's no more K, I'm not thinking about what K and D is doing right now. I'm so prepared for what's going to happen in the future. And I'm not living in the moment. You need to live in the moment and have a couple baskets. Put your eggs in some baskets. And what you need to do is when one basket breaks, when it's no longer there, pick those up and put them somewhere else.
All right. That's nice.
Thank you.
Okay, move on.
All right.
You okay, Kobe?
I have no clue what I was going to say. You move on.
Me? Oh, I'm the wrong person.
All right.
Okay.
So in life, have you ever felt as if...
You got it, Kobe.
In life,
Okay.
have you ever felt as if your life, in a sense, was over? Have you ever felt as if there was no more coming back from a situation?
Yes.
Tell me about that situation.
Actually, I know the specific date.
Okay.
It was January 19th, 2002. It was about 4 a.m. I saw the lights in the hospital room. I said, fuck! Now I gotta do this.
Right.
And it's just from that moment, it was just like, I just can't do this anymore. Why was I chosen?
Right.
Why did I win the race?
Right.
But, hey, life happens.
Right.
Sometimes you're born, sometimes you're not.
Yeah, that's true. So, 19 years later,
Right.
you're here. So, to that sad Donovan that was coming out of the womb, what would you say to him?
Fall. Get as active as you can and just fall to the ground. So hopefully you don't have to live on this hell that we call Earth. Hopefully I can one day go back in time and tell him these things. But until then,
You're stuck.
I am
You are.
so stuck. Now, Kobe,
Yeah.
have you ever had a time in your life when you just felt that it was just over?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
So, in 8th grade, I spent a little bit of time in the hospital. Had a bit of an event there. And as time goes on, I'll talk more about this. But there was one specific moment that, coming out of a coma, and, they take the tube out of my throat, but afterwards, you can't eat solid foods, things like that. But in my situation that I was in, I had to relearn how to write. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to relearn how to do all of these things that to most people, it's just a given. And the hardest part for me was being 14 years old. I lived such a long time being normal, quote unquote, that I had to relearn how to do these things when they come natural. When you're 1 year old, you start to get up and you start to walk. You start talking. You start feeding yourself. So why at 14 am I having to redo this? One very specific example, my sister and my mom are in the hospital room with me. And Kylie just had a bag of Doritos. She's eating these Doritos. And I asked her, can I have one? Just wanted a freaking Dorito. She said no. I couldn't have a Dorito because my body wasn't healed enough that I could chew this Dorito properly and swallow this Dorito.
Right.
Thoroughly. And I just started crying. Like, that was the breaking point for me. Like, are you serious? I can't have a Dorito? Like, the words that came out of my mouth were, I just want to be normal again. And that was what was hard for me for the longest time. I'd say maybe for about 1.5 years. It took up until me coming back to school sophomore year for me to see, like, I wasn't ever not normal. Things happen, things change all the time. I just had to learn how to live life with these new cards that I was dealt. Was it different than what other people might have been going through? Was it different than the things that my friends were doing? Yes, it was. But not everybody's normal is the same. That was my new normal. And I had two choices. I could either continue to live in the past. I could be 17, 18 years old today, about to be 19 years old, and still just dwelling upon 14-year-old Kobe, wanting to be where he was. Or I could choose to embrace this, to do what I can with the cards that I've been dealt, and to move forward, to live life how I can. And I think, well, I know I took that second road. I did what I needed to. If I could go back in time and sit next to that hospital bed and hold my hand, I feel as if I needed to.
Right.
Because everybody was they're just telling you, no, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But that's what they need to do. They're telling you that so your mental state's all right.
Right.
But my mom, my sister, my grandmother, whoever, nobody went through what I went through.
Right.
I went through what I went through. So if I could go back in time and hold that hand and say, you're going to be fine. Yes, it's a Dorito right now, but there's plenty of Doritos to come. There's plenty more steps to come. You just have to get to the point where you can take those bites, take those steps. For some people, it's as little as a Dorito that it really makes you think about where you are.
Right.
You just can't crack. You can't give up because it's always going to get better. It might not get better today. Maybe not tomorrow. It might take a couple of years, which it did. But I'm not where I am today. And I wouldn't be if I would have had that Dorito. It took that Dorito. So I just assure him, I'd say, it's okay. You got it, dude. Hang on. Because I'll get you a Dorito. And when he got better, I'd give him a Dorito.
That's nice.
I hate Doritos today.
Oh.
Yeah, Doritos don't appeal to me.
Really?
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Mm-hmm. But I don't like Doritos anymore.
I love Doritos.
Interesting.
Doritos are nice as fuck, bro. Damn.
I know. Imagine if tomorrow you couldn't have a Dorito.
That'd suck.
I know.
Probably do something bad to myself.
Mm. But you're just so weak that you can't do anything.
Oh, no.
I know. It'd suck, but you'd get through it.
Yeah. I'll just do something bad to myself later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. As you've gotten older, Donovan.
I have.
What good experiences did you have? I'm talking awards, first dates. Things that you really look back upon and maybe smile.
Is this? Ew. I don't like bugs. Let me tell you. Best day of my life. It was in 5th grade, I believe. I was at my grandmother's house for whatever reason. I'm feeling terrible. I have a fever of something. It was high, like 102 to 105, some shit like that. Crazy. So then I'm taken to the hospital. Turns out I have this thing called meningitis. I got this thing. We're just waiting to hear from the people. There's like, we don't know if it's terminal or not yet.
Right.
So I'm just sitting there as a 5th grader. Terminal, what is that? It's like, either gonna die or you're gonna be okay.
Right. Spoiler alert. You're fine. You're here.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Eventually, the people came in. Good news, Donovan. You're gonna be fine. It's not terminal.
You said, where's the good news?
Fuck! Are you serious?
Right.
You got my hopes up?
Yeah.
For this?
For that? Exactly.
It's just really... I had my chance. If I would have did something different, I would have made sure...
Those people never came in the room.
That it
you
was
never
terminal.
went to the hospital. You just would have died at your grandmother's
Exactly.
house.
I would have just got up, went about my day. But I didn't.
With a 200-degree fever. Just go out and throw a ball or something.
But no, I had to complain
Yeah.
and wallow and let somebody else take care of me.
Right.
And I really should have just been taking care of myself.
Interesting.
Now, Kobe,
Hi.
what is your greatest, best, awesomest day of your life's?
Well, I think I'd have a few. A couple.
Go ahead.
But I have one that really stands out to me. And that is the day I graduated 8th grade.
All right.
Because talking about the previous happening, that 8th grade graduation was my goal. From the second I woke up from that coma, I wanted to be at graduation. Like, and it was so uncertain. I only got out of the hospital. Graduation was Tuesday. I got out the Wednesday before. So that's how close it was. But for me, it was, I need to be there. Did we have to maybe cut some ends to make sure I could be there in terms of my education? Yes. I left school. Things happened about a month and a half, 2 months before the end of the school year. So I missed out on the big final everything. So like I had a constitution test I had to do. All these things that before graduation, I think it was that Friday before. Maybe it was the day before. It was the Monday. I want to say it was the Monday because after that was when I went and got my outfit for graduation. We went to the school and I had to do my constitution test. And that lovely teacher, love her to death, she helped me through it. Miss Rediker, she's amazing.
So nice.
A godsend, truly. But it was 8th grade graduation because not only for whatever reason did I want to be there, but I wanted to give a speech too. And it was only so fitting that I gave that speech because it was like just perseverance at its dictionary definition. Was I literally died 5 weeks before, and here I am today. If I could go back in time, I'd rather, not have died. I'd rather be there. I'd rather have walked and did everything everybody else was doing, but my journey was different. I'm going to look back at it and reflect upon it differently the way everybody else does.
Right.
Sure, I was in a wheelchair. Sure, Coach DJ was wheeling me around. And when I gave my speech, he was literally holding me up. 100% what was happening. But the words that stick with me to this day that I just have seared into my mind were the final words of my speech in 8th grade.
Okay.
This is what it says.
I'm listening.
And it's just stuck in, I can recite it word for word. I remember it.
Right.
It was a quote. And it said, "Don't think about what can happen in a month. Don't think about what can happen in a year. Just focus on the 24 hours in front of you and do what you can to get closer to where you want to be."
All right.
That has stuck with me in my head every single day since I stood up there and gave that speech. While I was in the hospital, my goal was graduation. I need to get there. What I wasn't necessarily focused on was taking the time to relearn everything I needed to relearn, to do what was best for me to get there. I didn't give up though. And ever since then, I've had plenty of things happen that it's just, damn, why me? Why? Why him? Yeah, exactly that.
All right.
Plenty of those things. You guys thought I was done, didn't you?
No, we're back.
Nope. Don't let these sob stories fool you. That I wanted to give up. Mm-hmm. Because when you hear something right here, you hear that the end of the road is really far ahead.
Right.
You just want to give up. Mm-hmm. But I didn't. I just focused on the 24 hours that lied ahead of me. What can I do in these 24 hours in this moment right now to get me to where I need to be at the end of the day?
Of course.
At the end of the week, at the end of the month, to the finish line. I did that and I graduated high school. I did that and I'm sitting right here today talking to you about this. So it worked out.
Right, of course. That's nice. I'm glad everything worked out for you, Kobe.
I am too. Because I couldn't imagine all of everything without me.
Right.
They wouldn't have survived a pandemic. Without me, no.
Human race eradicated.
Gosh. World War III, although it was hinted at last year in January, it would have happened.
Of course.
It would have happened. But I was here. And it didn't.
You stopped that.
I did. Just by my mere presence alone.
And for that, from me and everybody else on this earth, we thank you, Kobe.
Yes.
For being here.
And I'm going to thank you too.
Really.
Because if you succumb to your meningitis, maybe the world would be a whole lot more peaceful.
Yes.
Maybe we'd all be more relaxed. Maybe there wouldn't be so much danger.
Of course.
But if there was less danger, then that sense of fear wouldn't be a thing anymore. And I feel like that's definitely a good sense to have.
Right.
Everybody keeps their guard up. And without you, that guard would have been let down a long time ago. Thank you for still being here and instilling that sense of fear into each of us.
I guess. Sure. I'd love to see the end of the world. Wouldn't you?
No. I hope to be long gone before that time comes.
I guess. I mean, I'd love to be like the cause of the end of the world.
I'm just so deeply terrified of death.
I'm not.
We see. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I didn't do too good of a job myself, but it's not death in the moment of death. It's everything that happens after.
Right.
If it hasn't happened already, you're going to be in the room with somebody as they take their last breath.
Right.
That's just going to happen. Whether it's a grandparent, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend, it's something is going to happen that you're with somebody during their final moments. And it's not what happens at that final moment that scares me, because there's people that can tell you about that. There's people that can tell you, like my grandmother, she was there when her mother passed away. So she can tell us how that was for her being in that situation.
Right.
But what my grandmother doesn't know is what happens to you after you die.
Right.
Because everybody that does know is not here to tell that story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm scared of. It's unknown. And I think I use the word scared loosely, just more so the fear of the unknown, the what truly happens. Sure, depending on what you believe in, you meet somebody at the gates and he lets you in or he tells you to take the elevator down. Or, there's some people that, just believe it just goes dark. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you choose or anything else, it's interesting, but none of us know.
Nope.
That's why I focus on today. I try not to die today because I like waking up in the morning. I like doing things that I don't want there to be an end.
I like doing things as well, but I'm also very curious. I'd love to see what happens when my life ends.
And one day you'll get that answer.
I will.
But it's not going to be today or tomorrow anytime soon.
Maybe
we have
the
a
day
whole
after.
lot more episodes we got to record.
Well, can we record those and then I can just...
No, yeah, I mean, shoot. Maybe let's start making some money or something to where I can get like royalty checks off
Right.
of us and whatever.
I got you.
Yeah. Just not now. Now's not the time.
Right.
Just started college.
Right.
Just all these things that are just now starting, at least finish them. Be able to say, hey, I got through with this. Then kick the bucket. A couple more milestones.
Gotcha.
Get your own place first. Love to experience that with you.
That'd be nice.
I'd get your own place.
I can't wait to get a place with you, Kobe.
You can't. Would that be fun?
That would be so fun.
Would it?
Sure. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
If there's anybody I wouldn't want to live with on a permanent basis, it'd be myself.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That dude sucks.
I don't think that's true.
No, trust me. He sucks. No redeeming qualities whatsoever. He's a little funny.
He's
I'll
pretty
tell-
funny.
He's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I just kidding. But seriously, no.
Oh. That's fine.
You'll be able to tell everybody. Because one day we'll be sitting here, we'll be like, hey, it's Kobe. I'm not here alone. Da 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 da. Oh, this is Maturish, and we live together now.
Yep.
So it'll be an experience. And guys, we'll be sure to talk about it right here. But until then,
Moral of the story.
yes.
To my younger self. Remember this. Always work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Do what is best for you. And remember, death is inevitable. Always remember that. Kobe, what is your message to your younger self?
I'd say Kobe. And rather this is just Kobe a year ago, Kobe 5 years ago, Kobe whatever. It seems like the end of the road is very close. Don't give up. There's so much more that lies ahead that you don't even know about yet. Hell, that I don't even know about yet. So let's strive and continue to work hard because what doesn't seem possible to you right now is so possible. Because I'm here doing what I'm doing now. So now, you keep on being you because God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
All right.
He gave those battles to you for a reason. Trust in yourself, trust in him, and you'll get through it. If you would like to share with us some of your previous life experiences and what you'd say to your past self, you can find us on literally every social media platform. It's either at K and the and symbol D Productions, or more commonly, you'll find us at _KD Productions _. When you get to one social media platform, there's a link tree. Just hit that link tree and it'll take you to everything. The Facebook, the YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok. And for some reason, there's like 2 elderly women.
Uh-oh.
Their Facebook pages are on there. I'm not telling you to go look at them and to go friend them. But if you don't, then that's on you.
Right.
We'll be back next week. We'll have more for you next week. But for right now, I'm Kobe.
I'm Donovan.
This was and is the Maturish Podcast.